Hey there, how are you? I'm Yalek, and in today's Boom Beach video, I have been very negligent with regards to the DTs, and I apologize for that, but I have had way too much going on. I get videos out every day, but that's basically because I usually, I'll have a day off somewhere in the middle of the week where I have little to do, and I'll end up, putting together 2 or 3 videos, so I have a couple uploaded in advance most of the time, which at this moment in time is not actually the case because I have been so busy. So you might not know it because you still see videos coming out, but that does not necessarily mean that I'm doing them right away or, at that time. Anyway, so the reason I've been delayed in doing this is not important, but I meant to do a video when we broke into the top 50, which you can see over here. We did a while back, 2 or 3 days ago, and wanted to celebrate that, but unfortunately too much going on. However, so we're going to take a look back at the last week. We had a pretty good run this week. Yesterday was not great. 586 on Stronghold, and that was my fault. Bombed on a high 5. Not bombed, I mean, it just didn't finish a high 5 and then had to get it with my second account. So of course we got high 5 again today, and I only have the second account here right now, which is the 5-5 account, 5 damage, 5 GBE, and I had to take it because, I needed revenge. And this was a fun hit. I'm going to show it because it's not the cleanest hit you'll ever see. We also have the cheap barrage. That helps a lot on a base like high 5 because you do need to clear mines along this walking line on the right side of the core. This is a fairly easy version of high 5, not gonna lie, but it just ends up being fun because of the extra gunboat ability we happen to have at the moment. Why am I showing barding lines in 1x mode? Let's speed that up a little bit. So we have an extra gunboat ability right at this moment, and that is the remote defib. And a little peak there, but not enough to make it hurt. Also, I have no troop health here, so that could have been costly down there where I clipped that one line, but oh well. So got some critters out ahead of me because you can't actually flash kill a machine gun, but if you put the critters there, you can get it down soon enough that it doesn't matter. And so here, we're going to burn on the shield for a bit, and I don't really have the GBE to do much else, so I throw the remote defib down here as I'm picking up a little bit of GBE on the side. And so we've got zombie Zookas, pink zombie Zookas. And I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 6 of them there. And then of course there are a bunch of shields on this base, so when we burn through the shield here, we're going to get a bunch of GBE, and I'm going to use that for even more zombie Zookas because that's really the best way to make sure that this gets taken down, because I did have some casualties on the way. The zombie Zookas are great because, I mean, that's just a bunch of free damage that you've been given back in your attack. So the remote defib's been kind of fun. Have not had the chance to talk about it, but that came back yesterday night. And there was a dev video, a second dev video about warships. Why am I going here? Yesterday, and honestly, it had way less information than you would like. We're gonna watch Andy on Commodore because this looks like a pretty clean hit there. We'll see. Normally, Commodore gets saved for Sven because this is one of his like 3 specialty bases. This and Dredge and Dioxin, and you'll see him on a Dioxin later. But in this case, Andy got it, and I love Commodore, so whenever I get the chance, I try to steal it, but we'll see how Andy does. Not terribly hard one here. The walk on Commodores is a nice and easy walk, and this is only 2 shocks up top, so up top meaning like up near the core. You've got the flamethrowers there, and then you've got the shock launcher back there. Those were out of range, so he didn't need to shock those actually, but had the GBE for it, I guess, so no matter. But yeah, I think, what, 19 losses I saw there, so pretty good hit. And again, nobody else ever gets to practice that because Sven steals it all the time. Let me see. Looking for... Now, the day that we actually crossed... Well, I'll show this one. Here's Sven on Coney, and this was a nice clean hit, and it was an interesting Conefold. Free GBE over there, which is always nice. But up here, obviously you have to shock the shock launcher. These you might want to shock. Usually you're going to park your Zookas up between these, the gap between these boom cannons. So these might range depending on how much of a spread you get, but Sven ends up controlling his Zookas beautifully, so there's almost no spread, which means he just has to get the flamethrowers over here along with the shock launcher. So pretty interesting version of Conefold and really nice. Look at all that GBE. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30 extra GBE down there. That's always nice because it instills a little bit more confidence because you're not going to run out. At least that's my general take on it. So I'm going to slow this one down a little bit early because I want to see exactly when he flares. He just started to spread up there. And then here. And watch how his girls wrap together here as they go to the core. They just end up wrapping this boom cannon nicely. So you've got a pretty nice tight formation there. And that ends up being then safely out of range of these rocket launchers. So really, really good bunch. It's nice to see. And let me see. So the day I was looking for, the day that we actually crossed over into the top 50. Here we go. Nutty joined back in to, sort of celebrate the accomplishment. We had this super nice assembly. I mean, no free GBE or anything like that, but not necessary because look at this up top. Obviously, you're going to want to hit from over there. You're going to want to shock these. That's out of range. That's out of range. That's out of range. You can sit in the blind spot of that. And so you just want to shock this and this. Rocket launcher, shock launcher. One of the friendlier versions you could get of assembly, which is always nice. Landing here, he does this little heavy trick so that he doesn't have to start smoking quite so soon. Try to save himself a little bit of smoke there. Really the only purpose that the heavies have here. Because at this point they're not needed for anything. I don't think the health on this guy was too high. Yeah, 270, which means about, let's say 550, so under 800,000 for that core. I'm not going to do the exact math. And then that operation also, that was a 5 blue lines operation. And this was Sven on dioxin. This was a slightly weird dioxin if I remember. Yeah, because these are usually mortars up here. And in this case they were rocket launchers. And that actually helped out because it makes this shock easier. When these are all mortars, you have to get all 4 of them, and that shock's pretty tough. It's like right there. But being that this is a rocket launcher and has a huge blind spot, you now don't have to worry about that, which makes the shock easier because you only have to get these 3 towers, and then you have the usual shock over here and shock over here, and then you've got rocket launchers over here, which is a little odd. Still 4 shocks, but just not the usual configuration. Also, this one comes with a fun little boom mine back here. Usually that's a regular mine and you can leave it because Sergeant Brick will tank that for you, but if it's a boom mine, you can't. And a little bit of free GBE there if you wanted it, but it's really not worth getting for 6 GBE. So he had to remove that extra boom mine. He's got all his other mines cleared out. I always get unlucky with these mines right here when I barrage, but he got them. Did he actually bother to get that? No. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it does, I mean, it does add one extra. Well, no, in this case he didn't need the extra flare. He would have used that flare anyway. So just a little bit of extra GBE, and it looks like he got everybody bunched together pretty well regardless. A little bit of peak there. So yeah, you'll see with the blind spot of this, I mean, his girls are completely safe from that rocket. So that means he's that shock up. That's really the only hard shock on Dioxin. This one's not too bad. This one's not bad. This one's nothing. But that one at the core can be a little tricky if you don't land it right. I typically miss one of the mortars, usually the far one, which, you know, you can still take it down. What was the health here? 529. So this was like maybe 1.4 or so million. You can usually take it down missing missing one of those mortars, but ideally you don't. So nice to have a version that gives you a slightly easier time. So anyway, that's what we have been up to lately. We have broken into the top 50 finally, but we're not really sticking on the leaderboard, which was sort of the point. We actually, just to get the name on the leaderboard, we've had several people join at this point specifically because of the name, and they join and they, you know, they comment, hey, yeah, I saw the name, had to, but of course we can't allow them to stay because we have a full contingent of players here. We don't need any more. But it is, so they end up getting kicked, usually with a nice note, but yeah, they see the name or they see the task force description there, which I will let you read for yourself. There you go. You'll learn something new every day, and don't you feel wiser after reading that? I don't see how you wouldn't. Anyway, so yeah, broken into the top 50 at this point, just trying to see how high we can get this number right here. And it's kind of it's a little annoying. We got a screenshot last night of us sitting at spot number 45, but I never seem to catch the moment when we hit our new high point. So I've never, I usually see it like now we've fallen back down to 68 because other task forces have finished their operations, so they've leapfrogged us in terms of total force points. And then we'll finish this up, I think, around 6 o'clock tonight, and then shortly after that we'll reach the daily tax. The daily tax is starting to become a problem. So like yesterday, when I did not finish this high five, we only got 586 force points, and I went and calculated based on our total force points, and you lose 5% a day. Check to see what we were being taxed at, and unfortunately we were being taxed at, it was going to work out to like 608 point something. That's how much we were going to lose. So 586 doesn't even get us to the tax, so we can't actually build force points on an operation like that. So we really do need to get more of the 5 blue lines kind of operations, and we need to run dead end more often. But apparently some teams arrange their start time so that it is after the tax, which happens for a set time for everybody, but it's not exact. I guess it's within a half hour of a fixed time, which is, I think for me, it's like 8 in the evening. But it doesn't happen immediately for everyone, which is strange. I don't know why that is, but we can't really afford to do that because we have people on both sides of the Atlantic who are 5 hours apart from each other, and we really need to be able to double dip. And so for some people, if we pushed back to, 8 o'clock my time or 8:30 my time, people would have to hit in the middle of the night, and that doesn't work. So we're gonna have to disregard that little strategy and just go as we are, and just see how high we can push this thing. Anyway, that's all I've got. Wanted to give a shout out to my guys for a whole bunch of good work, and we'll catch you around. Take care.